Today we're going to talk about a very important topic, women and domestic violence. What is domestic violence? What are the signs? And what should you know about violence against women? Well, today our guest, Kim Frendak from the Women's Resource Center in Decatur, Georgia, will tell us all about it. Kim Frendak, how are you? And thanks for the opportunity.
I'm well, thank you for the invitation.
Oh, no problem. So, Miss Kim, can you tell us a little about yourself and what specifically do you do at the Women's Resource Center in Decatur?
Sure. I'm Kim Frendak, and a local Atlantan for many years. And at the Women's Resource Center to End Domestic Violence, I do advocacy for women who are living in the community, who come in, who need to talk about domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking. Also, we provide one-on-one, counseling about safety planning. We help people with transportation needs if they need to leave the area in order to be safe. And I also train our volunteers and speak to the community.
Oh, wonderful. And Kim Frendak, what is domestic violence? Because we need to know the definition of it. What is domestic violence and what are the types of violence?
Domestic violence is about power and control. One person deciding that they would be dominating in the relationship. It's a systematic kind of oppression. And it doesn't typically happen only once. It happens over time. It gets worse, usually over time. And it can be physical, psychological, emotional, financial, sexual, and any combination of these.
Miss Kim, what causes domestic violence?
Well, domestic violence, we believe that the root causes are sometimes based in our society, the way men and women are socialized. Too many men in our world believe that it is their right and even responsibility to be in charge of the family. That means their wife, their children, and this can look very dangerous at times because it's as if there are rules that are created, and sometimes people don't even know what the rules are until they break them. So it becomes very complicated, very scary. The person who's using violence might sometimes also be fun and kind, and at the same time, in the next hour or the next day, this person can be making threats or using violence to control people, to create an atmosphere of fear and to maintain that atmosphere.
Right, absolutely right. And what are the signs of an abusive relationship? Like something that when a woman sees that, like automatically it's a red flag, a trigger.
Mm-hmm. We talk about red flags a lot because we want people to see this coming. First of all, we encourage people to get to know a new partner for a very long time before they make a strong commitment to be with that person or to have a child with that person. And the beginning signs are often about controlling the little things, saying, why do you wear your hair like that? I don't like when you wear that clothing. Why are you talking to that friend? Why do you always have to talk to your mother? I don't want you to go to church. I don't want you to go to work. I don't want you to go to school. And so the controlling of a person's life is a huge red flag. It's in and of itself abusive. But sometimes these subtle things we don't pick up on right away until it's a little too late. Teenagers sometimes are feeling happy that this person wants to know where they are all the time and wants them to check in every minute. But really that's a way to monitor the person's behavior and take away that person's freedom.
Right. And ladies, if you are seeing these red flags and then you see the signs all over the place, please reach out to the Women's Resource Center and put a stop to it because abuse is unacceptable. You can't go through a life like that. So if you're experiencing abuse, you see that this relationship is going toward the path of being very abusive, please reach out to the Women's Resource Center in Decatur, Georgia and put a stop to it. So, Kim Frendak, what is the mission of the Women's Resource Center?
Here at the Women's Resource Center to End Domestic Violence, we provide immediate attention and service to a person who's experiencing domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking. We immediately attend to that person's needs and try our best to make sure that people can feel supported as they go through the immediate stages of fear and uncertainty until they can become more stable. We do provide a 24/7 crisis line. We have an emergency safe house for people who need to stay in a confidential location for a while. So not only do we provide for the immediate needs of individuals experiencing these things, but we stay with the person over the long term. We do the long-term need attention as well. So perhaps it's about getting support around finding housing, work, services for the children, etc. And we also have a third mission, and that is social change. We want to talk to people in the community, to ask community members to become part of the solution by learning about what they can do, to recognize domestic violence, to help people get connected to services, and to do what they can to stop these very destructive behaviors in their own lives and families.
Wonderful, wonderful, great mission. And to me, many women, they stay in an abusive relationship for different reasons. Sometimes they're afraid to let go. Sometimes they're afraid, they don't know what the future will hold, or sometimes they might stay because of the children. Or maybe their partner just romance them, sweetheart them for a little while, and they think it's over. And then boom, suddenly it starts all over again. And it raises a question like, can an abuser change?
Well, I do want to talk about whether an abusive person can change, but I also want to say that when we are asking why does she stay and why does she return, this isn't really a very valid question, because we should be asking, why is he abusive? Why does he continue to be abusive? People stay in and return to dangerous relationships sometimes for very valid reasons, and it's our role as community members and friends and family members to not be judgmental, but to say, you don't deserve to be treated like this. There are resources. I'm concerned for your safety. Help me get you connected to resources so that you can see your options. And here at this center, we do explore options. We don't judge, and we don't even give advice. We want people to know that they deserve to have a life where they can thrive, and where their children and they can be happy and peaceful. And can an abuser change? Well, if a person is, in a way, brought to his knees by either the courts or the society in some way, yes, but there has to be a strong motivation. Sometimes if a person who's being abusive has lost his freedom, gone to jail because of an arrest, maybe lost his job, lost his respect in the community, lost his wife, family, children, perhaps when there is a lot of loss, someone will say, I don't want to behave this way, I want to explore a different form of manhood where I can live knowing that my partner can be respected as an equal. We're not the same, but we deserve equal amounts of respect.
Right, absolutely. And as I always say, like, if a relationship involves abuse, violence, pain, it is not healthy. It's unhealthy. And you need to fix it ASAP or do something, because you can't stay like that. It's something unhealthy and, yeah, very unhealthy. So you have to put a stop to it and seek help. And like I said at the very beginning, the Women's Resource Center is here. They have the resource, they have everything you need to help you go through that and then put a stop to violence. So how can someone support a friend, a family member who's experiencing violence?
Okay, it's when we talk about how to support a family member or friend, think about the ABCs. First, make it your business. Sometimes people think, oh, it's not my business, but it is, because it's about survival.
Yeah.
Make it your business and ask. That's the A. Ask. Are you all right? Are things okay in your home? I'm concerned for your safety. The B is to believe. People generally are going to withhold information rather than overshare or make things up. Believe what you're told, because a person who might seem to be a perfectly upstanding individual out in the community could, behind closed doors in the home, be a very controlling and perhaps dangerous person. Then the C is compassion and caring. You have to sort of invest by meeting that person where they are without judging them, and offer them your compassion, your companionship as they walk through this difficult time. The D is documentation. Even if they don't want to go to the police, even if they don't want to get an order of protection, it's important that they write down what is happening and keep the record of the abusive behavior someplace where it won't be found by the abusive person, because this can be used later as evidence for getting a protective order, getting an arrest warrant, etc. And the last one is the E, which is to educate. Teach people about resources. Teach people that any place in the country, in the United States of America, if you call 800-799-SAFE, you can be connected to resources that will help you learn about your options regarding domestic violence. If you're in Georgia, It's 800-33-HAVEN, the word Haven, Haven. If it's local in Metro Atlanta, Decatur, it's Women's Resource Center at 404-688-9436. And we can be found on the internet as well, Women's Resource Center to End Domestic Violence. So please reach out and get support.
Perfect. And also all the information will be linked down below, and then you can utilize them whenever you need them, or either go visit our WPTV platform and then reach out to the Women Resource Center or any resource that can help you put a stop to it. So you will find all the information down below on our WPTV page. So Kim Frenda, let's talk about emotional abuse, because to me emotional abuse is the most dangerous abuse because it can easily be overlooked. And some people, they might face it without knowing it, or they just decide to live with it. So, and emotional abuse can hurt a woman deep down to her womb and then leave scars. So what can you tell about emotional abuse and what those women should know about that type of abuse?
So emotional and psychological abuse, it doesn't involve hitting and choking and physical violence, but it's criticism, it's insults, it's constant beratement, it's trying intentionally to wear away at the woman's spirit, to make her feel very low. And I had an abusive man say to me, I wanted her to feel like she was nothing, because I knew if she knew the truth about herself, that she indeed is a wonderful person, an attractive person that many people would want to be with. I knew if she knew that about herself that she would leave. So sometimes the mode of operation for the abusive person is to break the spirit of the woman, because then she's easier to control. It's tragic, it's very, very heartbreaking, but it is something that once recognized, you can recover. You can gain back your confidence, you can gain back your identity, and you can relearn the truth about yourself, that you're capable and a lovely person. In most cases, people forget who they are, and you can learn that again. And we help that to happen in these support groups here that meet in this room.
Exactly, and don't let no one bring you down, turn you down, because you are powerful, and every women, they have a gift inside. So believe in yourself, trust yourself that yes, you are possible. Because I always said it, I am possible is the new possible. So believe in yourself and don't let anybody bring you down, because the strength is inside you. So just believe in yourself and then push forward your dream and then make it happen. So thank you for just clarifying all that, because a lot of women, they live with, they emotionally abused, but they can't recognize that. So this is a wake-up call, and then that's something you just look for the sign and then just try to stand up for your right and believe in yourself. So ladies, violence is violence. Abuse is abuse. Whether it's physical, it's financial, whether it's emotional, it sure have effect. Kim Frenda, what are the effects of violence against women?
Well, every year in October, just here in Georgia, we read the names of the people who've died because of domestic violence. Every year since I've been helping with our Candlelight Vigil, that's began in 1995, there have always been, in Georgia only, between one October and the next, 100 names, give or take a few, right around 100 every year. And the deaths are primarily women and children, in large part, about 90% to 95% of women and children who lose their lives. That's a huge effect. People die. People are also seriously injured. Sometimes babies are injured while they're being carried in the womb. And not only the physical violence, I work with people who have brain damage. I have worked with people who've gone blind. I work with people who have injured children at birth because of the injury when they were being carried in the womb. Physical violence and injury has a huge effect. Also, the emotional impact is also huge. People suffer from having nightmares and flashbacks, and they lack their confidence. Then emotional violence, the impact can be a person's lack of confidence, a person's stress causing physical problems with headaches and stomach problems and reproductive problems. So the impact goes far and wide. And then financial abuse is something that's also very common, where a person will get involved with someone, and then before long, this person has control of their money. Perhaps they've controlled and taken money out of their home equity. Perhaps they've created credit cards in their name. Financial abuse can have a long-lasting impact, and a person's credit can be damaged. Many times a person who is getting involved with someone that they don't know very well, and there becomes a financial concern, the person that's being abusive is also, deciding that they're not going to work, or they're going to use money to buy alcohol and drugs, or they're going to spend irrationally and unreasonably, even when children might need things, the money is not there for them. Financial impact is huge as well. And sexual violence can create a lifelong inability to connect with people without a lot of healing and understanding and rebuilding of a person's self-worth. Sometimes the sexual violence can have a huge devastating effect where they have difficulty in future relationships. The impacts go far and wide. Children growing up in homes where there's violence, little wee children don't develop their psychomotor skills as quickly as they would if they were growing up in a peaceful home. Children in school either behave too good because they think that they can prevent some kind of violence if they behave perfectly all the time. And then these children get sick with stress and stomach problems and headaches. Or they behave very badly, mimicking something that they've seen an abusive person do, hitting others, behaving inappropriately with others, physical violence with other children. Teenagers, they are going to act out like teenagers do. If they want to get away and they can't because they're kids, they'll escape by using drugs or alcohol or getting involved with a person sexually and being careless with their driving. Lots of ways teenagers living in violent homes are affected. The most important thing, though, is that if you have a child and you're in a violent relationship, you have someone talking to that child about the idea that what they witness is not okay, that this violence is not normal or okay, and that people can live together in homes and have peace and cooperation and kindness and love, and disagreements can happen without any violence or yelling.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And from what you just said, to me, an abuser can be qualified as a terrorist. Because people, when you mention the word terrorist, people, they always think about the bad guy with an AK-45 or 47, the suicide bomber, or the one with the knife. But a terrorist, to me, can be closer than you think. Can be an abusive husband, partner, boyfriend. So what can those women out there watching you right now, what can you tell them about, like, when they're living a life that they have an abuser, a bully close to them? What message do you have for those women living with those type of people?
Well, here at the Women's Resource Center to End Domestic Violence, we always recognize that you are the expert in your life. We don't force you to do anything. We don't even, judge in any way. But we can tell you if we're concerned about your safety, and then what we'll do is see options. So the main message is, if you're living with violence, if you're feeling terrified, if you're walking on eggshells, trying to prevent the violence from happening, remember that the violence is inside the abusive person, and whatever you do or don't do, you typically can't control any of that. You can't control another person with your behavior to keep him from being violent. It's very important that you say, I am going to reach out and I'm going to see what options might exist. Many people are convinced that there is no option, and they feel very isolated. And the abusive person convinces them that nobody will help them and nobody will care, and that's not true. People will help. We will help. People will care. We will care. We will walk with you so that you can be safe and supported as you create a life where there's peace and safety for yourself and your children.
Absolutely right. And you heard it all. Ladies, the Women's Resource Center is here for you and for you. So put a stop to it. If you see that these signs are abusive, like your relationship is going toward an abusive path, just please reach out to the Women's Resource Center, and they're here to help you put a stop to it. So Kim Ferenda, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So what advice do you have, the word of the end and the advice that you have for the women, for everyone watching you right now?
Well, I would say this. I don't know if it's advice, but just a reminder to remember that as a human being, you're free. You can be married and free to be who you are, free to make decisions with your partner, your husband, your spouse, so that you can decide together about the important things in life. Not one person should make all the decisions. To recognize your freedom and your worth and know that you're here on earth to learn and grow and make a contribution, and you have to have a certain amount of freedom to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Kim for that. Thanks for the Women Resource Center. So ladies, you don't have to be silent. Voice it out loud and proud. Reach out to the Women Resource Center and put a stop to domestic violence. Hands are not for hitting, and then love is happiness, not terror nor abuse. So please reach out to Women Resource Center, reach out to womensvoicetv.com, send us an email and just voice it out, voice it loud and proud, and we are here. We are the voice for the voiceless. So thanks for watching, and until next time.